Merry Christmas, everyone. Let's unwrap some presents. As I'm recording this, it's Christmas Eve 2022. By the time you're seeing this, presumably it will be Christmas morning or perhaps some days or weeks after. Either way, Merry Christmas to all of you. I have a lovely glass of scotch that I poured myself out of one of my gifts, a bottle that I received as a gift this evening. And now it's time for me to open up some gifts that I received from the HorrorPack company. In case you don't know, HorrorPack is a monthly horror movie subscription service. They have a DVD HorrorPack and a Blu-ray HorrorPack. Obviously, I get both of them. And each contains 4 brand new horror movies. You never know quite what you're going to get, so on this channel, I like to open these up and discuss and let you see what I get at the same time as I discover them. Of course, that's not the only thing I do on this channel. I do all kinds of wonderful, spooky, horror, creepy kinds of things, so do make sure you're subscribed and have rung the notification bell, and also do all the things that help me grow this channel. Like this video, share it, leave a comment, and so forth. A wonderful Christmas gift for me would be if you did all of those things to help me grow this channel even bigger and stronger for the new year. But even though HorrorPack is a monthly service and I get these all year round, I feel like these are among my Christmas gifts, and it being Christmas, I'm going to go ahead and unwrap them. So let's get right to it. Here comes the first one. Not sure if it's the DVD or the Blu-ray pack, but they always come in these wonderful little white pouches. And here comes pack number 2. And here indeed is pack number 2. But now that I've got them out of the boxes, let's open up the packs proper and see what's inside, beginning with the DVD pack. The first of my gifts from the DVD pack is a film called Eaten Alive. This is one, as is frequently the case, with which I'm not actually familiar. I am familiar with the director. It's a film by Tobe Hooper, creator of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Of course, we all know that film. I just don't happen to know this one, so let me read the description off the back for you. It says, "The Starlight, a decrepit hotel run by Judd, receives few customers. Perhaps it's the remote location in the Texas bayous. Perhaps it's the owner's violent mood swings. Or perhaps it's the man-eating crocodile in the backyard." You know, that's the sort of pet I've always wanted. Keeps the neighbors and solicitors and homeowners association goons away. Carrying on. But one dark, steamy night finds the Starlight visited by a runaway prostitute, a young couple, and their child, a dying father and his daughter, and sex-obsessed Buck, all of whom will experience an unforgettable night of terror at the hands of Judd and his pet Croc. A raw, violent, and bizarre portrayal of madness run amok in rural America, Eaten Alive was director Tobe Hooper's follow-up to the international hit The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Dark Sky Films proudly presents this 2-disc special edition, which features a brand new transfer from long-lost vault materials and never-before-seen bonus features. Sounds exactly like my kind of a film. Very much pleased to have gotten Eaten Alive. That is to say, gotten the movie called Eaten Alive. I'm not sure that I would actually want to be eaten alive. Anyway. Next, we have Deep Blue Sea 3. I have not seen this one. I have seen the first one for sure, and I think the second one. But I know I've not seen the third one. Let me read the description for you. Of course, it's a shark movie, but let me read the description for you anyway. On the tiny island of Little Happy, Dr. Emma Collins and her team monitor a flourishing marine nursery where great white sharks come to breed. Their idyllic existence is interrupted when Emma's ex-boyfriend arrives in search of 3 murderous bull sharks. But these aren't ordinary sharks. Their mother, Bella, was genetically modified to be highly intelligent, and dangerous. As their body count rises, it's clear that Bella's offspring inherited her killer genes, and if they manage to spawn, life as we know it may end. Get ready for the deadliest return to the deep blue sea yet. So it's a shark movie. I'm not going to say Deep Blue Sea are the best shark movies, and I'm certainly not going to say they're the worst. They're fun. They're shark movies. Looking forward to watching this third in the series. Third from the DVD pack, we have a film called Black Pumpkin. Trick or treat, says the little tagline. Seems more like a Halloween movie than a Christmas movie, but I celebrate Halloween all year anyway, so though it's a film I'm unfamiliar with, it should be interesting. The description on the back of this one is difficult to read by firelight, so forgive me if I put this at odd angles to do so. It says, on October 31st, 2018, two preteens in a small town accidentally awaken an evil that has lain dormant for decades. They are forced to survive through a terrifying Halloween night of cat and mouse from the monster known as Bloody Bobby. It's a Halloween slasher movie. You can never get too many of those. It's not one that I'm familiar with, but as far as I'm concerned, it's another winner. I'll be looking forward to trying this one. And finally, from the DVD pack, we have a film, or rather a collection, called Scared Silly. The subtitle says this is 13 comedy horror classics. So let's see which 13 films are included. We have Creature from the Haunted Sea, The Creeping Terror, Death Row Game Show, Ghosts on the Loose, Little Shop of Horrors, and this is the original 1960 Roger Corman film with Jack Nicholson, not the musical version with which we're all familiar. It also has Manos, The Hands of Fate. And by the way, check out my video on the worst horror movies ever, because I discussed Manos, The Hands of Fate in that one. And by worst, I don't mean don't watch it. In this case, by worst, I mean watch it with perhaps an adult beverage. Carrying on, we also have My Mom's a Werewolf. We have One Body Too Many, A Bucket of Blood, The Gorilla, King of the Zombies, Treasure of Fear, and Spooks Run Wild. So there's a couple films on here that I've seen. Manos, The Hands of Fate, of course, Little Shop of Horrors, some others. And there are some on here that I haven't seen, but as much as I like straight horror, and I do, I also enjoy horror comedy, and so very much looking forward to sampling, let's say rewatching the ones I've seen and trying out the ones I haven't in this collection of 13 horror comedies. That brings us, of course, to the Blu-ray pack, which I have just here. Let's get right into it and see which 4 Blu-rays we have. One of them, of course, will be a HorrorPack exclusive. That's usually the last one to come out of the package. But in the meantime, there should be 3 other wonderful films. Let's see what we've got. First up, we have Dr. Sleep. This is Stephen King's sequel to The Shining. Of course, I know about it. It's a sequel to The Shining. I've not yet seen it because I haven't yet read the book. I've been slacking off on my Stephen King reading. I've been reading some other things. I want to read the book first, and then I do want to see the movie, so I'm glad to have a copy in my collection, even though it'll probably be some weeks before I finish reading the book and get around to it. The description, again written in tiny little print that's hard to read by firelight, so I'm going to put this in front of my face. Forgive me for doing that. The description says, still scarred by the trauma he endured as a child at the Overlook Hotel, Dan Torrance, not Danny, but Dan Torrance now apparently as an adult, faces the ghosts of the past when he meets Abra, a courageous teen who desperately needs his help, and who possesses a powerful extrasensory ability called the Shine. Doesn't tell us a whole lot, but we know that we're following Danny Torrance now as an adult, and apparently he still shines, so presumably some good stuff. I've heard good things about it. I just want to read the book first, so this will go onto my shelf. I'm happy to have gotten it. It'll go on my shelf for a couple weeks, and I'll get to it soon. Next, we have The Lodge. This is a film I have seen, and it's a good one, but I didn't own a copy. I only saw it on some streaming service or other. And I've discussed that before. As far as I'm concerned, I like the streaming services. I use the streaming services. But to me, there's no substitute for owning a physical copy of a movie. The streaming services are wonderful, basically rental services, but I don't understand the people who feel like they're buying a movie and only getting a digital copy. Stepping off my soapbox, The Lodge was a good film, and I'm glad to now own a copy. Let me read the description for those of you who don't know. The description says, "A bone-chilling nightmare from the director of Good Night Mommy, The Lodge follows a family who retreat to their remote winter cabin over the holidays." I'd forgotten that it was over the holidays. I knew it was remote in winter, but I'd forgotten it was actually a holiday movie, so seasonally appropriate. Carrying on, and again holding it up to my face so I can read better in the dim light. When the father is forced to abruptly depart for work, he leaves the children, Aiden and Mia, in the care of his new girlfriend, Grace. Isolated and alone, a blizzard traps them inside the lodge as terrifying events summon specters from Grace's dark past. And I can tell you, this is a really good film. It's a slow burn. It's very character-driven and sort of atmospheric, and it seems like not a lot is happening throughout the film, but that's okay because you're so engrossed in what little is happening and really getting the most tension out of the smallest things possible. And then, of course, it builds to a climax and you eventually figure out what's happening. Highly recommended, and glad to have a copy of The Lodge in my Blu-ray collection. Third, we have a Christmas classic, Gremlins. And this is the double feature. It's Gremlins and Gremlins 2, The New Batch. I already own copies of both of these, but only on DVD, so the Blu-ray is an upgrade. And as I've said, and many other people have said before, it's just not Christmas until you see the Gremlins start singing Christmas carols. This is one of my favorite Christmas movies, and in fact, I have recently, just yesterday, done my annual rewatching of Gremlins. So you can't go wrong with Gremlins. I'm happy to now have a Blu-ray as opposed to just a DVD. Not that there's anything wrong with DVD. Obviously, I get the DVD HorrorPacks as well, but you know, the Blu-ray's a slight upgrade. Anyway, in case there's someone out there who doesn't know Gremlins, I can't imagine what you're watching my channel for if you don't know Gremlins, but if you've never seen it, I will go ahead and read the description for you. When the rules are broken, mischief multiplies in Gremlins. 1 minute your hair will stand on end, the next you'll be laughing when these supposedly gentle furballs wreak havoc. The trouble gets doubled in Gremlins 2, The New Batch, as Billy and Gizmo must face off against a new batch of gremlins who definitely think New York is their kind of town. So obviously, the first one was sort of a small-town Christmas movie. The second one is set in New York. The first one's better, by all means, but they're both good. They're both worth watching. This is a wonderful Christmas gift. And finally, we have what must be the HorrorPack exclusive. The spine says it's exclusive number 78. They've been at this for a while now. 78 of these exclusives. This one is a film called 13 Sleighs Till Christmas. Till Xmas, actually, but the X is actually meant to be the Greek character Chi, so it's not Xing out or anything. It's an abbreviation. Anyway, never mind the etymology of Xmas. 13 Sleighs Till Christmas looks like an interesting film. I like to have a Christmas horror movie. And because this is a HorrorPack exclusive, as is usually the case, it's one with which I was previously unfamiliar. Maybe something for me to pop into the Blu-ray player as soon as I finish recording this. Let's see what the description on the back says. The description says, on December 24th, 5 seemingly random men are invited to a dive bar by a mysterious email. They decide to pass the time by resurrecting the old tradition of telling scary stories on Christmas Eve, as we should all do. I've mentioned that a few times in years past, and recently, we need to resurrect the the ancient tradition of telling ghost stories on Christmas. Anyway, as each take turns spinning yarns of Yuletide terror, it becomes evident they may be harboring a dark and deadly secret. So I can't tell absolutely for certain, but it certainly sounds like this may be an anthology film, a collection of short stories with a wraparound story uniting them. If that's the case, I've mentioned before, I like anthology films, and certainly sounds like a good one. Even if it's not, if this is just a straight feature horror film, still sounds interesting. Either way, you can never get too many Christmas horror movies, and this was one I didn't know about, so I am very pleased for my final gift out of the horror packs to be 13 Sleighs Till Christmas. Well, that does it. Some wonderful gifts from the HorrorPack company. Some I had seen, some I was familiar with but hadn't seen, and some that are entirely new to me. That's sort of the way I like it. I like to discover some new things. These seem like wonderful offerings, and I can't wait to dig into all of them. But that brings our time this evening to an end. Do be sure to stick around for my next videos. In the near future, I'm going to be recounting my top horror books and horror movies of 2022, and you won't want to miss that. I also have plenty of wonderful things planned for the new year, but for tonight, I have Christmas business to attend to, so I'm going to sign off. For all of you, have a very Merry Christmas, and as always, take care and stay scared.